I'm Jamie from the Game Guide, and we've got
Kartik Kini. I'm an indie developer of Void Souls.
Void Souls. What is it about? What's the game about?
So Void Souls is a top-down minimalist Souls-like. It's almost like as if Geometry Wars and Dark Souls had a baby. It's a very unique kind of game. We wanted to create something that appeals to people who aren't necessarily the biggest fans of Dark Souls, but also to the same people who have maybe played hundreds and hundreds of hours of Elden Ring. We wanted to make sure that both sides of players can really enjoy something together.
So is it more of a game where difficulty and challenge is the main aspect of it?
Yeah, difficulty and challenge are definitely core. You learn a lot through your failures. You will die a lot. We designed the game to kind of reduce the sting of losing and make sure that the player understands that every loss is a learning and every opportunity to grow comes from failing and dying against enemies every now and then.
With the development process, what was your most sort of like challenging aspect of it?
Yeah, I think the most challenging part is translating the Dark Souls and Elden Ring formula into a 2D version. Most games, even ones that aren't made by FromSoft, are all very third-person character action RPGs. Our biggest challenge was artistically, essentially flattening the game world and also making sure that all the mechanics translated nicely to the two-dimensional space. We spent a lot of time tweaking the animations, making sure that every time an enemy attacks you, you always feel like it's a behavior that you can read. It's something that you can understand. And through practice and repetition, you can get really, really good at dodging enemies' attacks. We have one boss in the demo as well. It has a plethora of really complicated and powerful attacks, but they're all like very, very intentionally designed and animated so that when you see it attack, you'll know when to dodge and you'll know when to get out of the way.
Yeah, that's good. It's nothing worse where like you don't know what you're hit by, right? It's really difficult to dodge that way. On the other end of the scale, what did you find really enjoyable to develop in this game?
I almost going to say the same answer, honestly, because to me as a designer, the challenges are the fun of making games, right? I really enjoyed the challenge of trying to figure out how do we tell this kind of game story. I mean, the character of the game is literally just a triangle. When I said it was minimalist, I meant it. Like, you are just a triangle, and you're trying to go up against these shapes that are 2 times, 3 times the size of yourself. And I really enjoyed that challenge of making the player empathize with something as simple as a triangle. There's a decent variety of enemies, and creating each one of them to feel like a distinct and not just visually interesting, but also gameplay interesting. Every single time you face an enemy, you don't want to face just like, oh, there's another guy with a sword. There's another guy with a sword. It's the same thing. So we tried to make sure each enemy has like very unique animations, even like slightly bit of personality. Some enemies are more cowardly, some enemies are more aggressive. That's my personal favorite part of designing this game.
You mentioned it's very minimalistic. Is there a story element that all players will experience throughout the game?
Yeah, so we were actually really inspired by games like Hyper Light Drifter and Tunic. Those games are wonderful at kind of telling a story without like lines and lines of dialogue, right? I love finding ways to communicate a story of a world as non-verbally as possible. And that's kind of our goal with this game, and I hope that when players play the demo and when the players play the full game, that they're really kind of paying attention to the details. So we spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to build this world in a way that was believable and has its own consistent rule set. So pay close attention to the details. You never know what you'll uncover. Is
the game out now, or is it a release date?
So the game is not out yet. We are hoping to release towards the end of 2024. But what we do have right now is a free demo that you can download from the Steam page. If you just search Void Souls on Steam, download the free demo. There is a plenty amount of content to play, and even after you've beaten the demo, it unlocks new ways to replay the game, challenge runs, and other modifiers that makes the world even harder in case you found it too easy.
There's always someone that finds it too easy. You mentioned it's coming out on Steam. Is there controller support?
Yes, there's controller support. We support almost every major controller that's out there. I also highly recommend playing it on the Steam Deck. That's how I've been playtesting it as well. It's really fun to take on a train, on a plane, wherever, because it's a very small kind of visual style, so you can take it anywhere.
Can we expect it to come out on any other platform?
Yeah, we do hope to release it on consoles eventually. I can't say exactly when, but we'll be working on that.
Well, thank you very much for your time. We look forward to when the game is released, and yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.